Kindly listen to this before we go into Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case for today.
Bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, at the university, the government, I come from Kogi State, geographically part of the north. Sadhana made sure that anybody who had admission to a tertiary institution was given a scholarship. The scholarship covered tuition, covered lodging, covered feeding, 3 meals per day. And we had what was called Bulgaria. That was allowance.
Okay.
Like I told you yesterday, I got married when I was in university from my allowance. As a student, we had book allowance. If you went overseas, you had what was called warm clothing allowance. And like I was saying yesterday, what was Sadama using for money compared with the money that is available now, that some people, some governors earn more than 1 billion naira per month for security vote. Sir, my firstborn, I was at the university the year I graduated. My friend and I rode on his scooter. We left Ibadan at 12:30 a.m. and got to Ilorin at 4:30 a.m. on a scooter.
Security.
There was nothing to be afraid of. Because each region took care of its own children. Like I said yesterday, sir, that constitution is the title deed. The day it comes down and we have a constitution drawn by us, that's when we'll be free. Sir, it is like a company. Him, me, he decide to form a company. We have what is called Memorandum of Understanding.
Yes, sir. MOU.
Memorandum of Understanding in our own case here is called preamble. It says, we, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, agree.
And there was never a time.
No, where did we sit to agree? God bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now you've heard what this man said. You want to ask yourself this very important question. What is Nigeria doing for you? What has Nigeria done for you? And what is the country currently doing for you? Nothing. They are taking everything away from you. But this man told you that he married his wife with the allowance that he is getting as a student. He married his wife. And then it was a regional government. All the regions were on their own. They were taking care of themselves. They were taking care of their security by themselves. It was a regional government and people were thriving at the pace at which they want to move. But today, what is happening? We continue to claim unity in diversity while things continue to go down. Everything continues to perish. No form of development. Nothing. Just individuals who are crazy for excessive money, milking the country dry and allowing many other people remain poor in abject poverty and penury. This is the condition of the country. And this is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came out to say, no, this nonsense must stop. We must forge a means to protect ourselves, to give ourselves better life. And they came for him. The evil ones who are siphoning and embezzling the funds of the general public are now fighting him. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala once said something. She said, if you fight corruption, corruption will fight you back. That is exactly what they are doing to Nnamdi Kanu, because he stood against the corruption, against the marginalization of the Igbo race. And corruption stood against him. What you see happening in court is corruption standing against Nnamdi Kanu. What you see standing against Very Dark Man is corruption standing, because he is fighting corruption and corruption is now fighting back. That is exactly what you see happening. Now let us go to what happened in court today.
In Abuja has admitted into evidence and played in open court a video recording allegedly showing Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, issuing directives to his supporters, which the prosecution claims incited acts of terrorism across the southeast. In the recording, Mr. Kanu said allegedly it is important to protect the lives of IPOB in the southeast. The day's proceeding commenced with the prosecution's second witness, who gave his evidence in chief before the presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho. The witness assumed the alias BBB to protect his identity and is a serving DSS officer with at least 20 years service with the agency. Counsel for the prosecution sought to tender before the court a flash drive containing what he described as one of Mr. Kanu's broadcasts and a certificate of compliance, along with a statement written by the accused sometime in 2021. Mr. Kanu objected to the certificate of compliance of the audio and video recording and told the court that he will give reasons as to why he's objecting at a later date. The court now has before it the recording device, a certificate of compliance, even as the defense objected to the admission, as the video was played in open court. Mr. Kanu allegedly was addressing his followers and was audible when he said, quote, his reference to the proposed entity as the blessed land of Biafra. He also announced the formation of the Eastern Security Network, where he urged followers to defend their land against what he referred to as domination by another tribe. Well, let's get more on this. Senior reporter Celestina Area joins me for more on this development. Celestina, a lot has happened, in court between yesterday and today, but bring us up to speed on the day's proceeding.
Okay, well, Precious, the court today took the second witness of the federal government, who is an officer of the DSS and who has over 20 years of service. And he was codenamed Mr. BBB, just to protect his identity. As you recall, the court has earlier granted an order that witnesses that will come before the court to testify in this case will be shielded and will be protected. So today he tendered two material evidence, which is a flash drive containing video recording that was made, according to the witness, by Nnamdi Kanu, and also his statements that was taken from Nnamdi Kanu in 2021 when he was brought back to Nigeria from Kenya, and as well as the certificate of compliance. That certificate of compliance is what gives credence to the audio and video recording in terms of how it was gotten and its admissibility. The counsel representing Nnamdi Kanu had objected to this evidences presented before the court, but said that they will give their reason for objection later, so as to not to impede the process of the trial, to allow the trial to go on, but they will give their reasons at a later date. So the court admitted these materials as evidence, and the prosecuting counsel, Adeboye Gawemolo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, asked that the audio and video recording be played in court. It was played in open court through the devices in court, and Precious, I can say it was very explosive. And from what we could see on the recording and the video that was played in court, there's something in law called res ipsa loquitur, which is it speaks for itself. And we are trying to be very careful with our narrative, because we do not want in any way to incite violence or incite Nigerians. So the defendants will have an opportunity to cross-examine the witness come tomorrow, because the court has granted a celebrated hearing in the case, which means the matter will be taken from day to day, just to expedite the process and also ensure that all of these things come to an end, because this issue has lingered on for over
and Celestina, interesting you mentioned that, because I was going to say, look, it's good that now there is expedited hearing so that people do not lose track. But for those who have lost track of this particular case, it's dragged on for a really long time. Just in a minute or so, bring us up to speed on on all that has played out, what the trial is about, up to where we are now.
Okay, it started in 2015 when Mr. Kanu was arrested, and he was arrested by the DSS, put on trial, and along the process he was granted bail, and at that time he was accused of calling for he was accused of basically terrorism at that time. But along the line, he was granted bail, but the federal government said that he jumped bail. But Mr. Kanu, at that time, put out the statement to say that he was fleeing for his life because his residence in Abia State was raided and he had to run. So in 2021, Mr. Kanu was rearrested. And we recall that issue of his rearrest dragged up all to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court has said that he was extraordinary rendition to Nigeria, but that should not take away the fact that he should answer for the alleged crimes against him or the alleged offenses against him. So that brought us back from 2015 to 2021 when he was rearrested. And the videos that were played in court today was the ones that Mr. Kanu allegedly broadcasted in 2020. So in 2021, he was arrested, he was brought back to Nigeria, has been in the custody of the DSS, and the issue had been before Justice Binta Anyanku. And at that court, we didn't report any progress of the case because they were from one application to another, from one order to another, to one interlocutory injunction to one ex parte application, because counsel to Mr. Kanu at that time had decried a lot of maltreatment of their clients, from him not having access to change of clothes and also access to medical attention. So because at the point in time in the trial, Mr. Kanu asked Justice Binta to recuse herself from the trial, that he didn't have confidence in her delivering judgment or justice. So she recused herself from the trial, and the case was taken to Justice James Omotosho, who is the current judge handling the case as of today.
So the case of Nnamdi Kanu continued today, as Nnamdi Kanu has started defending himself. You know, they brought up videos of his past broadcasts where he talked about that of the NSAS, and when he was talking about defending Biafra land. And so Nnamdi Kanu defended himself. He said that there was lack of interest from the governors to do the right thing to protect the people of Biafra, and that all he's doing is to ensure that his people are safe, protected, and given a better life. He is not doing any breakaway from Nigeria, that any breakaway will come from referendum. He went further to state that any incursion into Biafra land will not be tolerated. It will never happen, and they will not permit it to happen. Nnamdi Kanu also went further to talk about the killings of Biafrans in Obibu, in Aba, in Umahia, in Oka, in Delta State. He talked about so many things, and then he talked about the laxity in the aspect of the governors to do the right thing. He also went further to say that any policeman, any military man who wants to come to Biafra land to kill anybody, that such person will face the same penalty, that nobody will harm any Biafran and go scot-free any longer. So he also went further to say that the ESN that he's created was responsible for chasing away the Fulani headers who always come to Biafra land with their armed group to try to sack communities and take over communities, that no such activity will be permitted any longer, that people own ancestral lands, and their ancestral lands and farmlands must be respected and allowed to prosper, that any Fulani who comes again to try to destroy the farmlands of Biafrans and chase them away and harm them in their villages or in their farm settlement, that the ESN is ready and are positioned to chase them away. So that is what Nnamdi Kanu stated in court. In a nutshell, he talked about self-defense, that it is never a crime to defend yourself, and he must continue to defend, and the people of Biafra must continue to defend themselves without fear of anybody. So this is what happened in court, and the case will continue from tomorrow. And the judge has said that it is going to be a fast one, that there is not going to be any delay any longer, that it will be daily trial until they come to a conclusive end. So this is what happened tomorrow. The case continues until we get to a conclusive end. That is what we want, and that is what we are looking at, for a final decision that will lead to the release and complete freedom of Nnamdi Kanu, and in extension the Biafran people. Thank you for listening. This is Biafra First.